Well, good evening and Happy New Year, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television talk show. We're broadcasting live and then on demand on Roku, Apple Television, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, and of course, YouTube and Facebook. It's 9 p.m. Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. First time I've said that this year. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson. Welcome to the season 4 of the first LGBTQ talk show of its kind in the world. We are going to laugh and play through our LGBTQ plus world. Next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
After midnight, we're gonna have a Patricia, we're gonna serve an appetition. I do not know the lyrics that I
What to do in the event of a zombie apocalypse. You've seen it in horror movies. If it becomes real, researchers again.
Oral petechiae and its bruising on the palate. It can be caused by sucking on something large in the mouth. To be honest, unless
It's all happening out tonight with your hosts, gay guru Al Ferguson, lesbian activist FayWhat, leadership coach and leathersure Mark Moffitt, pansexual leather daddy Elimination, Indo-Caribbean artist TriniDaddy, Gen Z political advocate Maxx Fenning. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, as you can see, the season 4 cast is the most diverse in our history. It's Happening Out, as you know, is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America. Hotspots Magazine has been documenting the LGBTQ plus experience for 37 years. And Happening Out Television Network has been bringing you daily LGBTQ plus news, talk shows, and more for 4 years. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. Let's jump right into It's Happening Out, and we begin that with TikTok. As you know, TikTok has become the top source for viral content on the internet, and you can find everything there from recipes, hot guys, and vacation clips. And nothing says, by the way, vacation like a cruise on the new cruise brand Virgin Voyages. Virgin has been an iconic supporter of the LGBTQ plus community, and now Virgin Voyages brings that to an entire new level as your #1 choice of an LGBTQ plus vacation experience. Value is the word. A value that includes being an adult-only cruise, Wi-Fi, all food from 20 plus eateries, tips, group workouts, and even essential drinks, all included. That's value. And their values are also self-evident. Virgin Voyages fights for equality and the right to be seen, heard, and included. And this is why Virgin Voyages is part of our best TikTok of the week. So each week we're going to show our favorite TikTok video. Here it is. Rolling Stone and 2023 are canceled by user Michael Rambo.
Well, 2023 is already canceled. Did you see the international news? Read it, bitch! I don't know who is running Rolling Stone, but cyberbullying is approved. I'm sorry, Michelle. I usually don't support it, but honey, these people need to be fired. They need to be canceled. They need to be arrested because this is violence. Okay, not only is Miss Dion here, one of the best-selling artists of all time, not just female, best artist of all time. Okay, not one of the best awarded of all time. We are talking vocals. You name me 10 singers who are better than Miss Celine Dion. She is the best singer in the world of all time, Miss Dion, and she is going through so much right now. 1 in a million diagnosis, no cure, husband dead, and this is the thanks she gets for the vocals and performances and songs she has given us our entire lifetime. You're done. You're canceled. I don't care. I mean, someone, good, let's get on gay Twitter. Let's see who's running Rolling Stone because, bitch, there's going to be a war. This is war. Celine Dion, I am sorry this happened to you, but Rolling Stone, you're filth and you know you're filth and you're going down.
That was TikTok user Michael Rambuzek. Sorry for the mispronunciation. I'm done.
I'm done.
It's over.
Oh my Lord, he lost his shit right there. Just like, oh my God, Celine Dion, you should be arrested.
If that is your biggest problem in the world that makes you go off that much, you have a freaking fabulous life.
Right?
Rolling Stone's list. Anybody else as pissed off as Michael is?
I just say drama much. Like this was the Academy Award, right? Drama much.
But I think it's totally justified. How are you going to have 200 best singers and not include Celine Dion into it? There's somebody who must not like her, because that you can't just have that as an oversight.
Like, how did we forget, right? Like, how did you forget her, right?
Well, how do you forget her, but then put Mariah Carey, who is only audible by birds in South Africa, at the top of that list?
Don't mess with Mariah.
Oh, I don't. Y'all say
Moffitt,
hold my hair.
Moffitt, hold my wig, bitch. 21.
Y'all can each have your favorite divas. I can't stand to hear that woman sing, not a single note.
But guess what? She ain't singing to you.
That is
No, she's not.
Christmas.
She's number 5.
I
thought we were
She is not the queen of Christmas. She is
Oh, my
she is the
goodness.
queen of hurt my eardrums.
Well, I was very happy to see that Celia Cruz came in as 19. Okay, but I was happy that she got 19, but I was surprised that she got 19. You get me? Like, I'm happy she's on the list, but I was surprised that she was so high up. Frank Sinatra was number 20.
Yeah, and from the all-time, you mentioned Sinatra's classic. Judy Garland doesn't make the list
at all.
I mean, it seems like they're trying to hit all the different genres of music, but then to not include Judy Garland is, I don't know who these people are.
It's homophobic.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
It's homophobic.
No, and you're going to put
It's
Taylor.
homophobic.
It's pure. It's homophobic. That's it. Let's say it right here.
This is like a gay hate crime. Pretty much.
Homophobic, but you know but you went after Mariah. I just want to know that you're the homo. But
Yeah, I just want to.
Come on.
Right.
But did you?
Here.
Right.
I'm not sure if you also know that Pink went in on Rolling Stone as well. Pink went off on them because how Rolling Stone has truly changed over the years. Their foundation of music and what they cover has now gone from less music, more pop, cultural. Snooki was on a cover recently, or at one point. So I'm like, why? So to really invest in
I wonder
this.
about Snooki.
I wonder
Exactly.
if
In this day and age.
I'm shocked you know who
and that's the
Snooki is.
that's the relevancy.
She's so irrelevant even to our
as
age.
Pink is doing that critique of Rolling Stone,
And she was forgotten. Absolutely.
and she was forgotten.
And she
Oh,
said,
she's
and she,
not
and she
on
gave,
I love
she's not
Pink.
on the
She's
list.
not
she
on
gave
there
them a
either.
big F you. She really did.
Exactly.
She really
and
did.
I wonder,
and I loved it.
when's the last time Pink, the rock chick, has been turned the channel to MTV?
Oh my
none of
It's
us.
the same
It is
thing.
exact-
None of us. I don't
and that was
listen,
my critique.
Yellowstone is one of my favorite shows, like, on earth, right? And it's put on by MTV Studios. I'm like, oh shit, they're relevant again. That was my thought. You know?
Well, and Friday night, RuPaul's Drag Race season
And
15.
RuPaul's
Be
Drag
there.
Race.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! I thought we would have one show without RuPaul, but to change there we go. My
Only
Lord.
8 minutes
Oh,
in.
my
What do you
gosh. And we're
expect?
only
You
8
are
minutes.
never
Royalty rights, come on. And another gigantic swipe to the gay community. I think that there is something about homophobia. I think there is. Cher didn't make the list.
Did Madonna make the list?
Madonna did make the list.
And she can't sing, and I love Madonna. Okay,
But she can't sing.
But I love Madonna, but how she can't sing? Oh yeah, you're
Not anymore.
gonna put Taylor Swift,
Of all
okay?
people.
And I wasn't on that show when you guys all bashed her because I love her. So
not
start it, all right? 'Cause
I would
I will
bash.
finish
I will
it
go right
real
there.
quick. Tay was 102. Okay, on that list, 100.
Should've been 1,000.
Is that good? or
At
bad?
least 1,000.
I mean, I'm surprised that she wasn't higher on the list.
Higher?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, she deserves to be on the list. Of course, they got that one right.
More.
Oh my
By the
gosh.
way, Bjork was in the 60s.
Oh,
But Bjork is different.
No,
like,
because
she's got a
because
thing.
Bjork slays. It's like Army of Me. Are you kidding me? That was like a domination
Bjork's
anthem, in my opinion. Like,
Last song was Before You Were Born.
Yeah.
oh, I don't, and I know who she is, right? Like that's.
All right. This
Catch
is
it.
why
But
we
then you're gonna
love,
put Sticky on the cover.
right.
why we love and hate TikTok. All right. Before we leave the dock with TikTok, let's think about the best place to make your next video. And where would that be? Of course, a Virgin Voyages cruise.
I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through like a virgin. Touched for the very first time. Like a virgin. When your heart beats next to mine.
Well, thank you, Virgin Voyages. Okay, after that conversation on TikTok, I need a drink.
Yes.
Who's with me? All right, let's
go.
play our yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. We have played this game since season 1, episode 1. I've been drinking for 4 consistent years. Yes. We invite you at home to play right along with us as I make 6 statements to our host. If they agree with the statement, they take the shot. If they disagree, well, it's going to be a long night for everybody, but mostly me. Are we all ready?
Ready.
Yeah,
Ready.
right now.
Then let's play I'd Swallow That. All right, I'd Swallow That is sponsored by the LGBTQ plus community's favorite spirit brand. Bacardi is the world's most loved rum brand and a special sponsor of our nonprofit 501c3 efforts to educate, inform, and empower the LGBTQ plus community. Bacardi is as diverse as our LGBTQ plus community. Our neighbors right here in South Florida, they are the world's largest privately held spirits company. Bacardi is also a legacy name in their support of the LGBTQ plus community with sponsorships, pride embracements, and deep and passionate support of our LGBTQ plus charities and causes. And that is why tonight It's Happening Out plays I'd Swallow That with our favorite rum drink, Bacardi. All right, here we go. New Year's Eve. Everybody was there? Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen co-hosted CNN's New Year's Eve live celebration from Times Square in New York City with special guests and performances. The duo has been hosting this event for the past 5 years. What makes this event special this year for the audience across the country is the chemistry that was demonstrated between the duo and the hilarious banter. However, this year, there was a lot more gay energy on the stage. Cohen called Anderson sweetie dozens of times, and it was a big turn on for the queer audience, frankly. There were times when Cohen managed to catch Cooper completely off guard by using words like bossy bottoms. Andy even asked straight Jack Black if he was the top. And what about Shangela in the dungeon? This New Year's Eve was surely full of gayness.
Absolutely. Do you two have any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolution?
Honey, mine is to high kick again and kick in 23 like I never kicked in anything else.
That's right, and mine is to keep on kicking down doors for every drag entertainer and gay person in the world. Hallelujah.
Look, everything is going great for the two of us. That's why we're celebrating so much, Andy.
You two are so great. I love hanging out. So, Shanji, are you staying at Jennifer Lewis's house right now, or what's happening?
Oh, baby, I've been living on the lower level, which she calls the basement, a.k.a.
He's been living in the dungeon and has never paid rent for 10 years.
Wow.
It's on my nerve, but I love him.
Well, we hope you both have a great New Year. We wish you the best. Thank you so much for being with us.
Happy New Year to the best of you. Absolutely. Happy New Year.
Woo! Happy New Year, everybody.
Well, question number 1. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Did CNN's Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen just deliver the gayest New Year's Eve ever?
I don't think it was the gayest. It was definitely the most freaking boring one I've ever seen in my life. Wow, that was boring. Of course, yeah. I'm looking at Al. I got you. But listen, it was really bad. It was hard to watch. Like, it just was not funny. The best part was when they talked to Kevin Hart. You know, Kevin Hart bashed them. Like, he bashed CNN. He even said that they were better when they were drinking. And he was just profusely drinking while they were interviewing him, you know? And I thought he was like the best part. I mean, Shangela, I love to see Shangela on. Of course, any kind of representation is great. But poor Jennifer Lewis kept on misgendering her and kept on calling her a he, you know? And I was like, come on, somebody correct her. Somebody tell her, you know? And nobody did and nobody cared.
The two gay boys were too scared, apparently.
Of course they were.
Yeah, I feel like I'm lost. So Shangela is not a he?
Oh,
well, you know,
okay. And Andy Cohen and
Wait,
Andy
wait,
Cohen and the other.
no, hold on,
are they
hold on,
dating
hold on.
or?
Have you ever watched RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yeah.
Shangela in the box, coming out of the box. She's a drag queen.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Do you refer to drag queens as she?
Yes,
always?
all the time. When they're dressed like that, yes, you do. Don't ever not do that. You're gonna get punched out.
Okay.
Oh my God, Trini.
Thank you.
But,
PSA
you know,
here.
but here's the situation though. There was a big blow up about drag queens and their pronouns, whether they like to be called their actual name or their stage name, on depending on the situation. Now, if you really notice Jennifer and Shangela, they have a well-determined and well-defined relationship. That dungeon was real because they have a lot of things that they do together. So Jennifer and so I do agree. Yeah, Shangela is dressing like Shangela. However, you got to know when you're on. And I think alcohol, where CNN wasn't drinking, Jennifer and Shangela was getting it in.
You know, and in case you didn't watch this, by the way, I know everybody was out and about having fabulous New Year's Eve parties. What did you do, Faye?
I did nothing. I hung out with 12 dogs at my house in a big ball gown and a crown with my wife.
Yeah.
That's what I did, okay? Because this bitch partied since November 1st, and I was tired.
Did you have a big glass of Bacardi in your hand?
No, I did not. I don't drink. You know that, all right?
That's
My
right.
God. I had champagne for my wife, and that was it. But I even called. I was supposed to go out with Elimination.
Yeah, we were
and I was
supposed to go.
like, brother, I ain't doing shit. I am staying home. I've been partying. This is a novice day to go out anyway.
Well, pause. I had to hit up my sibling like, hey, where we going? And my sibling, oh, by the way, I ain't going. You go for me.
Yeah.
And I did it all for you twice. I gave a kick.
Twice.
Twice.
A little tears going down my cheek because she's done that to me about 52 times.
But Al, I wanted to go back to Jack Black. But didn't Jack Black play a bottom in the movie D-Train though? I mean, so how was he revealing, only giving the truth though?
Right.
And Anderson and Andy, are they together?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes it feels like they are.
Do you love him? Because I don't.
love
Have you watched New Year's Eves before in the past?
Yeah, but
Do you know who Kathy Griffin is?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember that she was on New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper?
With Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
You remember
Andy Cohen replaced her. And in fact, let's add a little...
but I know that they always talk about each other on Bravo and stuff, but I didn't know if they have kind of a secret thing going or if it's...
They're both married.
They're both married?
to other people.
Other men.
Other
They're
men.
the
And they
privileged
both
gay
have
white
children.
guys.
Guess what, Trini? They're gay.
They're the privileged white guys.
Right?
That's all.
And they use he, him pronouns.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure you're all caught up, Trini.
Learned so much on it.
Oh, dear.
Have you ever been out with people and you're drinking when all of a sudden you feel bad for the designated driver? Like when you realize what an ass you're being. That's just how you felt the whole time watching Anderson Cooper.
It's
Oh my
It's
God.
like, oh, he's trying to
That
keep
is a
this shit
bullseye.
It's
It's
true.
like,
It's
oh gosh, this really needs some alcohol.
Oh my God.
But
it's so
I
bad.
do like seeing Andy Cohen not trying to run another conversation because that's what he's always doing. It's kind of the interview panel show. This was just him being him. So he
Yeah,
did.
but did we
he
really
brought-
want? But did we want them like a whole hour of them calling their parents and shit? Like nobody needed that. Like it was
And
like
you know, it even got gayer because at 12:30, Don Lemon came on for CNN's second for the Central Time Zone New Year's Eve celebration, and he did it from his hometown in New Orleans. And the only thing that could have gotten worse than Times Square with Anderson and Andy Cohen was Don Lemon in New Orleans.
Oh my God.
It was like watching paint
it was
dry.
so, and I respect him as a journalist.
I love
It's
it.
crazy because I
love
had to
Don Lemon.
I had to make sure it was him. You understand? Like I was like, no, that's not him on the stage like that in New Orleans. They wouldn't do that to him. Oh shit!
That's
it is.
exactly
Yeah.
right. And everybody that was a guest called CNN out by saying, wait, why are you not allowing them to drink? They should have allowed them to drink.
But listen, they're adults. Like, hey, have your drinks. Just don't go overboard. It's New Year's.
So maybe
they were much
water
more,
them down.
Listen,
They
the
watered
gayest
them.
show on New Year's Eve was Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton. I'm sorry.
So maybe
That
the
was it.
conservatives, they should have spent more money on alcohol than those horrible writers allowing them to write for themselves and call Speedy. But did you also hear the drama, Gay New Year's, how they Andy kind of snubbed Ryan Seacrest?
Oh, terribly.
Oh my gosh.
He called him a crybaby or something?
No, the closeted gay guy was trying to reach the privileged white guys, and they didn't. They totally snubbed him. They totally. He was so hurt.
The highlight for me for New Year's Eve with Andy Cohen was on January 1 when Kathy Griffin posted that video from 5 years ago of him being caught by TMZ at the LAX airport. And he's replaced Kathy Griffin. She's been fired. And they're asking him, what do you think about you replacing Kathy Griffin? And him going, who? Over
And mind you,
over.
he was for boss at Bravo for years.
For
And He has
years.
the audacity and nerve.
She had a
to say,
show on Bravo.
And
Oh my
she had a show,
gosh.
and Kathy Griffin just absolutely reads him perfectly to go, every year at New Year's, I get this video shared by thousands of people over and over again, and she goes, well, that's completely okay, because I'm turning to Dolly and Miley. It was perfect.
As you
All right.
should.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. Gay Reddit is truly the mother of all discussions. Recently, a question was asked by a user on the platform. He asked, quote, apparently Orlando, Miami, and Tampa are the top 3 cities in America to survive a zombie apocalypse. Really? End quote. And attached screenshot of a news article from Fox 35 News staff that rated the top 10 cities in America that are the safest from zombies. I love this because it's true. This article claims Florida to be the best place in America to survive a zombie apocalypse. To this, one user replied, quote, because they're so fucking spread out, it would take a zombie 6 days to lurch forward to the villages, end quote. While the discussion was taking a serious route, one user replied, quote, wait, you don't have your zombie apocalypse plan, question mark. I made mine a few years ago, end quote. While this discussion went on this way, we want to know, what do Floridians think about?
About what to do in the event of a zombie apocalypse. You've seen it in horror movies. If it becomes real, researchers, again, in quotes, have analyzed 26 different factors to measure zombie preparedness, looked at number of people already in poor health in the community, number of local supermarkets, number of hunting supply stores. And they came to the conclusion that in the event of a zombie apocalypse, you're going to want to go to Orlando. Florida? Yeah, you want to go to Orlando. That's the best place. And in fact, three cities from Florida are in the top 10. Miami and Tampa are also
Why,
there.
though?
Because of those factors, Nate. Of all of those, looked at it.
Okay.
Question 2, with a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. They got it wrong. Florida's Orlando, Miami, and Tampa are not the best cities to survive the zombie apocalypse. Mark, you took that shot pretty quickly.
This is ridiculous. Florida is so flat. Zombies can get everywhere in the entire state. There's not a mountain there. You can get on a ladder and see across the state. Secondly, I don't understand why in every single zombie apocalypse, nobody figures out just to build a freaking tree house. They can't climb. So I am prepared for the zombie apocalypse. I have my tree house in the backyard, but Florida is the worst place. It's already heaven's waiting room.
I'm curious because I've watched
it's flat.
every
I get
single episode of every single series of The Walking Dead. When you go up into your tree house, when you run out of food and water, then what are you going to do?
You send TriniDaddy down to go shopping and to bring back whatever
Caribbean
he can.
people, we'd be climbing trees.
Yeah, there's a pecking order. The lowest person's got to go get food.
Or, in Orlando they have Animal Kingdom, that big ass tree of life. So maybe that works.
We'll move in there.
No, you're going to say that Florida's the best state to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Absolutely.
With Ron DeSantis as governor, a month in he'd be like, kids need to go back to school. All the Zoom education. There could be a vaccine for a zombie virus. He could be getting his ugly little wax sculpture looking face off and be like, don't take it because it could cause autism. All right,
I can see that.
I'm totally with Matt.
immediately.
Right?
I mean, we got Al here, so clearly zombies survive all day on the show.
Really?
But
Wow.
but I will say, think about the crazy gun laws, these crazy Republicans. It's the best place because they will have you armed, shooting anything and
there's lots of
everything.
guns here.
There's lots of guns
I hadn't
here.
thought about that.
And again, the crazy Republicans, not only would you be in school, but there'd be a big old sign, "Colored folks eat here," and then they would just fill all the zombies.
Or
you know,
eat colored
we-
folks
God.
You know,
You sitting at the table, would you survive the zombie apocalypse?
Absolutely.
You
Hell yeah.
individually.
I don't want to.
at all, not at all.
Like, that was the first thing when I read this sentence. I'm like, survive? Who the F wants to survive?
That's because
Peace
Faye
out.
wants to die in her best dress, her best hair,
With my
a crown
crown.
on, and just for the rest of her life. No touch-ups needed.
I watched in December the final episode of The Walking Dead. 12 seasons. And in the very first episode of The Walking Dead, I was watching with somebody, and in the very first episode, they showed a highlight of it, and we both said, "Oh, it's FayWhat," because they
the
have
prom girl.
She's in the first episode.
I'm so sorry, Faye. I'm so sorry.
Right?
It's like, oh wait, Faye went down instantaneously as a zombie.
Efforts, man.
They are crazy.
Listen, so let's talk about the worst cities for zombies for you not to survive the zombies, right? Most of the cities on that list are all in Nevada. All right, Nevada has a lot of hills and stuff like that, right? So I mean, I don't get it.
I think the villages would be the most dangerous place. They're already like almost dead.
Number 5 most dangerous place for zombies would be Paterson, New Jersey, where I'm from.
Yes, it would be.
Where I'm from.
How are you going to say Nevada? How are you going to say Florida's too spread out and then pick Nevada,
Exactly.
where most of it is literal nuclear bomb testing sites?
The reason
pollution alone.
Let's return to Paterson. The reason Paterson would be the worst in America is because Faye becomes zombie and she whips up and organizes all the zombies to serve her in Paterson.
Oh, I love that.
With a crown? Absolutely.
And
I love
a
that.
scepter.
But did y'all know that Miramar was on that list? Now, I live in Fort Lauderdale.
One of the worst
as one of the worst. And
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't even drive. The Miramar seems so far, so I kind of agree with that. I was like, oh, Miramar, that's probably true.
I know what a Miramar.
All right. Well, we're happy. I'm going to Orlando for this apocalypse. All right, let's move on. A dentist has confirmed, oh dear, your worst fear. Trini, prepare. You're not going to like this because I'm sure you have a lot of bruising. That they might be able to tell if you've given oral sex recently. The unsettling news came after one TikTok user wrote in a now viral video, quote, "Just found out the dentist can find out whether someone has given head or not. And I'm screaming," end quote. Internet users were unsurprisingly gagged by the revelation and started a search. Thank you for getting that joke. Started a search to find out whether the horrifying claim had any truth behind it. The search was trending. And the truth is, it does. A TikTok dentist responded to the video to put the world out of its misery and reveal how they know. He said, quote, "Yes, sometimes we can tell, and it's usually bruising on the soft palate called the pétiché. But unless the patient's really young or shows signs of abuse, we don't care," end quote. He showed a photo of the roof of someone's mouth to prove it.
I know.
It's called oral petechiae, and it's bruising on the palate. It can be caused by sucking on something large in the mouth. To be honest, unless I see it on someone very young or there's signs of abuse, I don't care.
Now that picture behind him, that was Trini. It was. All right, question 3. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. I am never going to the dentist again. As they reveal, they know if you have given a recent blowjob.
No way, you better go to the dentist.
Oral health is.
Well, I'll go to the dentist.
You know what? I actually missed my
Oral health is
when
very
we were scheduled for the day after New Year's. First of all, why did they automatically schedule it for January 2nd? Absolutely not. I did not show up. So do that. But I will be because they can know. That's fine. I'm good at it. What can I say?
Since I've been summoned to this conversation, I was definitely looking in my mouth with a flashlight when I saw this. I was like,
Were you trying to give yourself bruising with the
I was
flashlight?
trying to just see like how, because I don't think that they can actually tell, and I don't think it would look like that because I was like kind of analyzing physics and trajectories, and I was like, I don't know about that. But then again,
this is what you do for a good time on Saturday night down in Homestead.
But then again, one of the last times I went to the dentist, this dentist was clearly hitting on me, and I've never been hit at the dentist when like they have your mouth all like that.
Only the church.
And he had brushed like my hair with his hand, and he goes, "You have pretty hair." And I was like,
"Did you really get
what?
assaulted by the dentist?"
Is that when you were like, "Dad"?
Then he says, "You know what? I really want to follow up with you. you put your cell phone number in my phone or something. And I was like, but it's on the chart. And I was like, okay. So I did that, and then I started thinking. I was like, I wonder if I had a bruise in my mouth at that time. So maybe dentist. Hell no.
Did he message you?
Huh? Yes.
He's a dentist. They make money. That's cash.
That is cash.
That's true, but you know what?
I'm very rich.
I don't need other people's money. I got my own.
I will tell you this.
But you're still in Homestead, though.
Yeah.
So I
got my new pickup line.
Dentist.
Let me see that throat. That's my new pickup line. And then the second thing it is, how you doing, Max?
How you doing? How you doing?
So if I'm walking around Wilton Drive from now on, like, hey, let me see inside your mouth. New line.
Right.
All right.
But I'm not surprised about this. I'm like, come on, think about it. Like, if you're sucking on a titty a lot, it's going to start affecting the inside of your mouth, right?
Absolutely.
And so then, in turn, it will affect your teeth.
Look, they can
Right?
absolutely.
That is mathematically impossible, what you just said.
Why?
We're talking about entering in the upper end.
Yes, you don't know my skills, bitch.
When's
You don't
the
know my
last-
skills.
When's the last titties you sucked? Let's talk about that.
All right,
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
like 3 centuries ago, or something like that.
Those titties are dead already.
dry milk, evaporated.
You know, it's funny, and I didn't realize that when Elimination came in tonight, he talked about how he was bruised in the upper part of his mouth.
I lick booty, I don't lick dick.
All right. Let's move on. One Reddit user finally had to ask the question to find out, why do so many guys refuse to meet without seeing a dick pic? He expressed his irritation by saying, quote, "It's getting kind of frustrating because I don't really want my dick pics sent all around the internet."
Thank you.
Or, wait, I was going to say, I think this might be Trini because I heard this on It's Happening Out one time. Around the internet, or have a stranger with them saved. You can't even tell how big it is from a picture anyways, end quote. To which the community had gigantic replies with numerous quirky and spicy responses. However, it does raise a question of how much dating has, as a concept, changed in the last few years, and if we are liking these changes. So, question number 4. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. I'm okay with my app saying no meat without seeing a dick pic.
Oh. Hated it.
You know, it just depends on where you're at in your life. There's people that just don't want to waste time. This is what we're here to do. I maybe don't like how your dick looks, so I need a pic before I go and take that Uber. It is what it is, you know?
But listen, I got people asking me for a dick pic when they have like a blank profile. Like, how you think I'm gonna send a picture of my penis to someone who won't even show me their face?
Yeah.
Like,
That's really funny. Here, let me show you the pictures of Max's penis.
No, I like to know somebody's intention right up front. I always have, and if that's one of your things to
You
meet
think that's
up,
positive to go?
well, I
show me
think
the
it's
pic.
I think it's positive to be clear on your intention, so that the other person knows: is this going to be a date? Is this going to be a hookup? I never had a problem doing it, but I just don't think that you should ever combine your face and your junk.
But you have a pretty
no
face,
matter who
honey.
it is.
And sometimes the people with ugly faces have nice penises. So they'll be like, oh, he's
No, but
ugly, but
those-
let me get the dick pic
No, but
first,
the
and then I'll decide if
nicest-
I'm going to see him or not.
Faye,
what does that have to do
Faye,
with
dicks are
intention?
different. It's not like titties.
I've had dicks, honey.
Okay, but when
Too many.
you see a really, it can be a really good dick picture, but there's nothing for scale, or it's like right after they finish, so it's
Lighting
just
is
barely
everything.
gone down.
Lighting is everything.
So it's all about the angles. And so
And angles.
And so you have not met the
Deception.
perfect. You have not met the perfect connoisseur of taking a picture. Talk to me first. Secondly,
Did you just brag?
I did. 'Cause I got the angles down pat. It's Christmas
You
now.
should brag that
I
you
brag,
should brag
we
that you don't
criticize
eat
me.
angles.
are an art form.
We told you we don't like Tootsie Rolls here. Keep your little thing to yourself. But it's all about, I personally, and we're going to do it, show me what I'm getting. If I want hairy booty, clean booty, shaved booty.
So that's the only part of it that I'm like kind of on board with, is because if you're a real like hygiene person, sometimes from that pic you can tell a little bit more of like what you might be
share
into.
a dick pic that is not clean.
But also,
Well,
Well,
it
you
also
see
can
everything
be
else
with
around the
You
picture,
can see that.
too.
You can also see the hands. Because you know, is it Jennifer Lewis that had that whole video, or it was some other comedian that was like, look, when you ask for a dick pic, what you're really looking at is the fingernails to see like if they got clean
true.
fingernails or
Very
not,
true.
and if any other part of the body, because it also depends on if you're a top or a bottom. I imagine if you're a bottom, like looking at a dick pic is something you
Well,
want. If
tell
you're
us.
a top,
You
then you
would
don't
know.
really want that.
Could care less.
Yeah, exactly. But then you might want to look at a picture of like manscaping, some of the other parts of it, you're like, I think I'm gonna pass on this.
Trini,
because,
do you share dick pics?
I'm not going to confirm or deny on that one, but I'm going to say,
Which means yes.
I'm going to say that
If you don't answer, we're saying yes.
if it was, they do have the 15.
He goes, so hypothetically,
they do have the ones that expire. So if I were to send one, it would be an expiring pic. But then another thing is that I've seen them before, and a lot of times you just don't know what Mark was saying. You don't know what you're actually getting. You've probably seen a pic from years ago. It could be somebody else's dick that they're sending.
Pics are boring, but also most importantly, if you have the intention of hooking up with someone, and you ask for a dick pic, and they're like, "No, I'm not going to send that to you." It's like, but why though? Do you got an ugly one? Because I don't know.
But for that one person that won't send it to you, there's 100,000 more that will. Yeah.
I'm also curious. You're 20.
Yeah.
Gen Zers, do they care anything at all about any of the critical issues related to sharing dick pics?
Like social media safety?
Yeah. Do they care really? They don't, do they?
So anyway,
they invented that shit.
But the thing too, it's not so much about prudishness. It's about like, do you want to put your stuff out there for everybody to be sharing?
That's prudish.
For me, no.
Yes, it is.
It can be
And what if you want to run for a you run for a senator?
You don't put your face. You don't put your face.
But listen, my news ever got leaked. Oh, I have sex. I get play. Like, what is that? I'm not embarrassed.
All day. There's a Twitter a new elected official who's on Twitter who just recently talked about all the different gay
and Grindr,
and Grindr, absolutely. And everyone is following him now because he's so real.
He became Kansas City's director of LGBT affairs for the city.
Oh, cool.
And people hit him up in Grindr and Tinder, and then they share. Wait, I'm talking to X or Y, who is a political person in Kansas City, and his reaction is, yes, I have sex.
Because we have sex. And the thing at the end of the day,
I don't know about Ron DeSantis, but
if you can show your dick, the human body is beautiful. Be proud of what you got. Small, big, Tootsie Roll size, thumb size, it's okay.
You can try to sell that.
But at the end of the day, enjoy it. Show them titties. Show that little that punani. I'm married to my sibling. I didn't respect my sibling.
But you can show it in person.
And you can, and I will all day.
Don't we want a little surprise, a little something? Because everybody takes the
not
best
every
picture
surprise
of
is a good surprise.
I just think it's a culture thing about the swiping culture and everything.
We want cheese to be made in the cheese
Absolutely.
thing
No,
of 1924. Also,
I agree with that.
All right, let's move on.
As soon as it gets to cheese, it's time to move on.
That hit home.
All right,
leave
that hit home.
Leave Trini alone.
Right. All right. Just like, see, that was a vicious read. Okay. All right. Everyone, damn it, figured out it was a vicious read too. All right. Just like LGBTQ plus on Wilton Drive. Trini just a little caught in his throat. On Wilton Drive, we're taking a lot of.
It was the dentist. It was the dentist.
Wow. It was the dentist.
I'm going to take a second drink.
All right. Let's take a momentary break and hear from our sponsor, who will never be with us again after tonight's conversation, Bacardi Rum. All right. During the Pride Month, generations within the LGBTQ community are continuing conversations about what is important to gay youth versus those who remember the Stonewall riots and those who survived the AIDS crisis. The generations are often opposed or have different views on social, political, pop culture, and religious issues. For example, the use of certain terms or labels like queer. The younger people are using the word queer easily to reclaim a once derogatory term. Baby boomers, however, struggle with this word because for them, that word often involves physical threats and violence.
Not to pretend like I'm a historian or anything, but I think we can all agree that the word queer doesn't really have positive connotations. Taking it off because that glare is terrible. I mean, just say it out loud. Queer. Queer. I'm sure I've been demonetized by now, but even the idea of someone calling me queer in like a forced positive mindset just makes me uncomfortable. For starters, it just sounds weird. I think Steph's queer or something. Oh, yeah, that explains it. I always thought she was weird. No, I meant she's gay. Well, why didn't you just say that before? The idea of reclaiming words is very strange to me, because we can go and reclaim this word. People use it all the time in like daily conversations, what have you. But words like queer just remain controversial. I know these words are vastly different. One refers to gender, the other refers to like sexuality. That's a whole other different video that you guys probably wouldn't want to see. It's just weird that we've gone and we've taken a word that meant happy and turned around in like the same breath and said, hey, that's a historically demoralizing and just all around demeaning word. I think we'll use that one next. I just can't help but shudder every time I hear the word queer.
Well, question 5. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. It's not 1975, and it's just old-fashioned to not embrace the word queer. Oh, everybody agrees with that.
You know what's crazy is that she looked pretty young. Like, I was surprised. I was expecting this to come out of someone older, right?
She had Al Ferguson glasses on. She had the Al Ferguson glasses on.
So the word queer goes back to 1513,
Yes.
okay, when it meant eccentric. That's all it meant, okay? And they took that and they twisted into being weird.
Right.
Oh, he's queer, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. All right? We've taken it back like the word bitch. I really don't see it in a negative way.
And it's not like this is even necessarily a super recent thing. I mean, we had Queer Nation in the 90s who passed out all those pamphlets. I think it was at New York Pride. There's been an undercurrent behind the reclamation of the word queer for decades now, for longer than I've been alive. In that way, like it is embracing this derogative term, this term that was used in a derogative way towards our community, and saying, yeah, I am queer. I am in all of its complexity and all of its diversity and all of its and all of its beauty. I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's part of our acronym, folks. Okay, LGBTQ.
I think that the queer is the only word we have in our lexicon now that you don't have to say all the letters, in my opinion. Is that, even doing what we'll talk about
means
later?
Everything.
Exactly. Like you have to, the LGBTQIA+, every time you want to talk about our community, we have to say all of these letters or somebody's getting offended about it. And I'm sure somebody will get offended about queer, like obviously this chick. But to say like just queer, like that encompasses everything, and I think it's the best word. I didn't use it before because I feel like nobody really has had a good definition of what it is. But in the past 3 years, I feel like queer has kind of come into its own as its new word of it's all encompassing of all of us.
Let me give you a different
label
perspective.
without labels.
Hold on. Let me give you a different perspective. I'm a member of 2 large Facebook groups. One is basically, I'm not getting the exact phrase of the group room exactly correct, but gay over 40. And then a member of a group, gay over 60. The 2 different groups. If I post Queer News Tonight, we do the first and only daily live gay television news show in the world, Queer News Tonight. In Gay Over 40, there will be no response except to whatever the post of the story is. 1 out of 2 times in Gay Over 60, it will be, I hate the name queer. It's disrespectful.
So first, no one laughed when Al said he was in a group for Queer Over 40. Okay, maybe it was just me. But the thing I also believe is, and Al, I do appreciate everybody's gonna pass out that comment, because I think depending on how you grew up, queer was negative. Well, I think queer is beautiful. Queer wasn't part of the vocabulary. Gay was negative. Gay was something that you never wanted to be called. Gay was fighting words. Faggot was fighting words. And so now I think that those are the things that as we grow up during that time period that we realized was horrible. So queer was something that was just all right. So that was part of the daily language. So you didn't use it. So you didn't understand what it was until now. And so I agree with you. But I do think that queer allow us to be everything that we want to be plus some, without being labeled to one binary versus the next.
If you go to the Oxford English Dictionary and you look up queer, it just says homosexual. That is what we are.
And that's all the difference.
And it's so unifying, because back when I was in school, if you were a little gay boy, you got called queer. If you were too butch of a girl, you got called queer. If your gender wasn't clear to everybody, you got called queer. It was the one slur that was not specific to guy, girl, different gender. So it's no wonder I think that we've all kind of tried to coalesce around that. And I don't want to get I mess up the alphabet letters when I do it. They add some to it. I don't know when, to add the plus or not. I love queer because it's just embracing. It's all of us.
Always add the plus.
You should always add the
But
always add the plus.
It's sort of like a label without labels. I know plenty of people who don't want to put a label on it, and so they do put a label on it, and it's queer. And that I think is so powerful. I also like when we're talking about reclamation, the way that we're able to take
Dude,
the power.
slow the hell down. Breathe. My God, I can't keep
I'm
up.
really hard about it.
Holy crap, you're going to explode right here, Papa. You're only 20.
I'm sorry. Again, Al needs to be able to keep up with me. But the way that we're able to take the power out of this thing that was placed on us in this negative light, and you mentioned the word faggot. I'll call myself a faggot too. I'll say, someone want to call me a faggot? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I am. Faggot, faggot, faggot. That's me. Like it is, and proud of it. Proud of it.
And that's how I feel about queer because again, queer wasn't part of the daily life, and again, not whether economical status or where you went to school, however. So faggot was that word, but queer now shows the beautifulness of who I am, the beautifulness of who you are. Yeah. And so the ownership of that, and it wasn't until a friend of our show, Simmons Taisha, Nicole Miller, who said, hey, you are queer because you have all this, you have that, and not knowing that I don't have to be one label versus another, I can be all encompassing and everything. And so the ownership is beautiful, and I think that's why queer is so allowed and so welcoming into our world because we're constantly evolving. We're no longer the dinosaur that sits at Al Ferguson. We're now so much better. We're so much evolved and amazing of humans, of understanding who you are as a person.
It's interesting to me. We got to move on, but it's interesting to me. While I hear the observations that you're making, it's not the number one reason that the word is reclaimed. I've read lots of historical perspective of why we embrace the word faggot, or why we embrace the word gay, or why we embrace the word queer, why people in the black community embrace the N-word. And the number one reason why marginalized communities embrace the hateful word that they were used is to take the hate away from those that would use it. And the reason why the queer community takes queer and embraces it is to smack you in the face for using queer as a hate word.
May I get this back to you though? The flip side of that is, so when you say gay, you can identify gay, someone who's same gender loving. If you say the N-word, that person looks like that. But when you say queer, to them, they have no idea who that is. So now it's a mystery. And so people don't like that because they're not unable to define that.
Yeah, they can't box you.
They can't box you in.
But have no idea who you are.
It's different because you said faggot. Like, you call it whatever. I'm not reclaiming that. So I will.
Funny, but you're so far behind us, Poppy, that it might take you like years before you even call yourself a faggot.
For me, faggot is different than queer because we were talking about the use of the words, like, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, for me, I never got, like, the derogatory thing it was faggot. It was not queer. You could say smear the queer, you play a few games like that, but people don't sit around like, oh, I think he's queer. They'd say, like, he's a faggot.
I've got to move on. But can I challenge the observation just real quickly? My story seems to apply directly to what your observation is. In the gay group over 60, which may have 40 or 50,000 people in that Facebook group, that's exactly what they just said. Absolutely. What you just said is exactly what they would just say. And you, and generally, we do not feel that way about the word queer. They do.
Because they were bullied with it like you were with faggot.
Exactly. Yeah. And my only point to you is it's interesting for us to think about the use of the word faggot is not a terrible word because we don't allow them to use that as the intent of the word. So therefore I embrace it. And that's where we are in queer.
I don't have a problem with people using it for themselves. I'm just not comfortable.
You're not going to embrace it, honey, and that's okay. Listen, the word DYKE, I don't use it. Okay? And people use that to refer to lesbians all the time. I don't use it. There's a freaking march in San Francisco named the DYKE March, and I still don't use that word. Because that was the derogatory word that was used for me.
And
you understand?
So you won't say the word out loud.
I won't even say it. I won't even give it the energy.
Are you offended by it if somebody says it?
Right. Right. So we're hearing it. We're hearing the exact same observation
Absolutely.
on both sides.
Absolutely.
And the situation in gay men over 60 in the exact same
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah.
Whether it's the DYKE or FAGGOT or QUER.
Now we're gonna spell all the bad
I love
words.
the L.
All
Hold
the
on,
same.
twice I love the L.
Right.
Y'all, we all gonna, the,
like a
show's gonna,
Fergie song.
the world is going to end on January
Right.
4th,
Yeah, the
2023.
world is ending. All right. All right, let's move on. Google has managed to win our hearts once again. And this time, we all have contributed to it in one way or another. Google's Year in Search 2022 is revealed on New Year's Eve, and we are happy to see humanity striving to make better changes and better decisions. While some are finding ways of self-acceptance, others are embracing changes and fighting for their freedom. This year, more than ever before, people across the world searched, "Can I?" or they searched, "How to?" to make their and other lives better. The overall year has been full of hopeful events for the LGBTQ plus community and really all of us as humanities. This is humanity. This is surely something we need to make better things happen this year too.
Even though it's a risk and I don't know what's on the other side, I'm going to make a bet on myself.
I guess I'm kind of looking at this as a sort of rebirth opportunity.
I just quit my job and flew to Scotland with no money or plans or friends.
This is day one of me exercising every day.
I've really gone and done it now. It's about a farm. Turned in my 2-week notice. I just took the leap.
Yeah, I'm really liking how my hair's been going. I feel like we're on the verge of a renaissance.
They say to do what you love, and I love to dance.
Oh my God! I'm proud of you!
I can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
Having any fun yet?
Carnival is back. Rio is back.
This is dedicated to the disabled community. This is our moment.
I wanted other women and other people of color to know it is possible.
When I was a little girl, all I wanted to see was me in the media.
She's black.
Change has become a constant. The way we embrace it defines our future.
I've never seen this kind of courage. They're fighting with all they have.
The word freedom right now means a lot for us.
This could be the beginning of a new era.
You know, I call it evolution. This is what believing looks like. And don't you ever, ever give up on you.
Breathtaking.
I tear up at every single one. Every single
Question
time one of these come
6.
out.
With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Google's search year in review gives me hope.
I would cry if my Botox allowed it.
That
was awesome.
I would if I didn't think Al would come back and shoot me. Like, you know, I gotta get my guard up because I know another comment is coming.
How powerful is the phrase, "Can I fill in the blank"? Wow.
I was crying like a baby when I saw this. I was trying to show it to Luke. I'm like, you gotta watch this video from Google. It's the best thing. And he was like,
Did he call off your wedding day?
He almost did. And he's like, why is that so emotional for you? And I was like, this is my job in the world is helping people to change when they're leaning in for it and to see that that's what the world is leaning towards. It means that there's this spirit of better, that humanity is essentially good when it's given the chance and the intention.
You know, it's interesting. I just jumped right in terms of maybe adding some color to the conversation. We reported last night at Queer News Tonight that for the first time in history of the internet, majority of LGBT people believe that social media is bad for our democracy. First time in history. And they're talking about Google too. They're talking about YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. And at the same time, they're talking about how bad we are moved to do and think about so many terrible things, conspiracies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those same kind of platforms can then produce something like this.
Which is why I don't seem to get as emotional as other people when they watch these beautiful videos and everything, because all I see is marketing. I just see like, all right, Google, like I can picture their meetings and what they wanted, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get people to cry and believe in us, and get our shares up, and reinstill this kind of faith in whatever.
But it pointed out a bunch of beautiful things that happened this last year.
So not only that, I love how you said you want to put some color in it. What cheered me up was most of those stories have folks of color and marginalized folks who you would never in the past would ever see. You never saw a big black woman get an award and bring on other women to take over the entire stage who was trendsetters. Cheryl Lee Ralph got an award finally, who had been doing amazing work, and the first 3 minutes of her speech was her screaming, and she got a standing ovation because the world exhaled when she exhaled. I'm getting emotional now because you don't often see black folks taking a stage. We get forgotten so often, and we're doing the work. And I talk at this table all the time. Gay folks, we cannot make a movement until we recognize people of color and our sisters. We cannot do it because the world won't recognize gay folks until they realize that women are humans, that black folks are humans. And so it's not about their marketing piece, it's about those black folks who are surviving, who never had a chance to survive, who wasn't on TV, who never got in commercials, who were never seen. And that's why that piece is so, and so Can I gives me hope to come here every Wednesday and make a difference in the gay community. Can I gives me strength that when I go to an event and I'm the only black person there, and stand on that stage, and when they say, no, we're not gonna bid on that jock or that whatever, because it's a black guy, we're gonna bid on that, but stand strong in all that I am, and still out fundraise because I stood strong. Can I gives us all hope because we all can do that because we know someone who can.
We do so many stories against our community,
Absolutely.
Al, on Queer News Tonight. There are days that I leave here and I'm in tears because it's just, it hurts to know so many people hate us, right? And it hurts to know that our own governor wished that we didn't exist or breathe. It hurts. So when you see a commercial like this, hope comes up. The fact that somebody would type, how can I be a better ally? Wow. You know, the fact that somebody straight that doesn't deal with any of the plights that anybody deals with at this table would type that into Google. It's just extraordinary. It gives people hope that not everybody wants us dead.
And there's something also kind of just hidden right behind the front or the fascia of this, where the answer to all of those can I questions is yes. They don't say it in there, but all of those people were walking in their success, walking in their change. So without telling you, they're telling you that whatever your can I question is, the answer is yes.
By taking one step. All you gotta do is take that first step.
Well,
smaller the better.
For sure. When this comes to our attention, it's why we incorporated in the show tonight. We congratulate Google, the creative person behind this.
Yes.
I hope that they get to see this conversation because you accomplished exactly what a marginalized community, which is LGBTQ queer, you hit the bullseye. Congratulations.
These happy tears are brought to you by Bacardi.
Yes.
And Virgin Voyages.
And Virgin Voyages together.
All right. That's
I'd like a ticket,
that. Next up is the segment we call our best thing of the week. And this is the week of celebration at Happening Out Television Network. Not just because it has entered another successful year, but because this is the week when 3 years ago, the world's first live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show came into existence. That show is Queer News Tonight. It was the first LGBTQ plus live daily evening show in history, in the entire world, in history. Originally, it was hosted by myself, Napoleon Plays, and Aaron Dar. The anchors roster grew to include Misty Eyes, Chef Josie, and today more than 100 anchors from all walks of the LGBTQ plus community, including our very own FayWhat, have anchored a revolutionary queer news show that moved in February and March of 22 to Roku and Apple Television. That a first, historic first, and told in 2022, more than 2,000 LGBTQ stories. Let that digest a moment. This show is broadcasted at 8 p.m. every day and has over 20,000 viewers daily. The community surely needed a credible source of information and LGBTQ plus happenings from across the world. And Queer News Tonight has been fulfilling this need since 2020 successfully. It is a proud moment for all of us. History was made when Queer News Tonight launched this week, January 6, 2020. Thoughts? Queer News Tonight.
Love it. Where do you hear any stories? I mean, that's actually why I'm sitting at this table right now, is because when I saw Queer News Tonight and I saw the ad, I thought that's what, I was going to be on. And I really follow politics and I'm so interested in it. And I wanted to figure out how you can make a change. And a lot of the gay topics that are chosen for other shows and other networks, whether it's The View or whatever, they're typing in, queer news. And I'm sure that Queer News Tonight is coming up that is putting out all of that. So I feel like this show probably has a much larger reach than we even know and influence into other media organizations.
Look at you asking how can I right after the Google search.
And I've been privileged to host
it's all marketing.
I have no idea what that's about.
But I will tell you what.
And I've hosted it a couple times, or been a co-host, and I really love that experience.
I was watching the report that you guys did, I think, yesterday on the Pride of the Americas, and a lot of that disorganization, and then this came up as one of the topics, and they just immediately came together for me. Is that, really, you can get information in a lot of places, even queer information too. But when you guys go through the whole discussion, you end up leaving me with what I can do about it. That's where I feel lost on all other news, whether it's good or bad. I'm like, well, great, what can I do about it? And you guys will bring it down to, hey, that means go to Pride wherever the hell the location's going to be. That means if you're a vendor, stick with it. That means that you need to, vote in this direction if you don't want to see that happen again. So you take people from really the couch to a place of action. Well, if you're mad, do something. Don't just yell at us on the TV. And I think that's really the victory, is getting people into action from those conversations.
Have you, I think everybody has like a smart speaker at home, right? And I don't know if you've ever done this, but I have. What's the LGBTQ plus news of today? It won't give you shit. It will have nothing. Oh, Ellen quit 5 months ago. You know what I mean? That's what they'll give you. And,
you have to put the plus in there.
You have to put the plus in, right? So for me, I personally don't think that the show got any good till about October when this girl got on and she kind of switched it up. No, but
right about when I started.
Right?
Dang.
So, but here's the thing. I'm not into politics. I never was, right? And I am ashamed to say that I was one of those people that I was like, hey, we got gay marriage, I'm done, right? All of a sudden, this Cheeto-looking mother effer became, the leader of the free world. And all of a sudden, I had to sit up in my chair and go, oh my God, what's going on? All right. This was before I started on Queer News Tonight. And I told Al, I'm not a politics person. I don't know my way around this. Faye, you'll do fine. Okay. You will represent you. And that's exactly what I did, was represented me and my guiding myself through all this political shit that now is important to me because I want our rights to be improved, especially here in Florida. And I think that that's something that Queer News did. When I post about Queer News, I say, stay informed. If you want to stay absent from the LGBTQ plus world, you really can. Okay, because they don't give us these news on channel 4, 6, and 10. They don't. They hardly do it on Fox unless they're bashing us. Yeah. Queer News gave people that ability to see real life stories, not some bullshit that Fox makes up, that are happening to our community daily, good and bad. Not all the pretty stuff. Most of the shit is bad.
And people who are living it are commenting on it. So you can have a queer issue, but then you get the lesbian perspective, people of color perspective, Gen Z. You really go through and you get to hear a topic that's truly well thought out. And that's not usually what the news is about. Grab your attention, get the numbers from viewership, and then move on to the next thing. And you guys are there for the real story.
And I never actually thought about it until you just said that.
Because you were the pretty lady at 2022, you said. We got that.
No, the queer news, that the only time you really get it is when we're being bashed on Fox News, because otherwise you would, I just realized that that's really the only time I hear gay or any drag queen or anything is being bashed on
Negative.
news.
This station's important.
Huh?
Welcome.
Yeah.
The good thing about in totality of it, although I've been involved in more of the social aspect, but the great thing about it is the visibility that eventually that we got to with the wonderfulness of our community, where we had Chef Josie, we've had FayWhat, we've had other folks in our community, and now the wonderful number of different perspectives that you all bring this coming year alone has been so amazing. So kudos to Queer News Tonight, and I challenge you to not only go to that, to now focus on how gay and black look alike, how lesbian looks, how our non-binary siblings, and even Queer News took it to a next level and had a trans only, our siblings, give them a voice. And so I think that's important because we are often forgotten. You know, we just had an emotional moment where I'm not seen, but you all have now continued to work towards making sure that all aspects are being seen in this community. Because we are, if you go to any major city, any gay town, they focus on the privileged perspective. They don't focus on those of us who are forgotten, who they want our money from, who they want us to come in, and things that are important. So I think that as long as Queer News continues to do those wonderful things and dive into those heart-tugging segments, 30 years. Al, I'm gonna be your age. I'm right there beside you.
No, but I joined in August 2021, so a little over a year ago. And I think what was most impactful, I think similarly, was those queer takeovers. I think it's on the screen right now. Is the first youth takeover, which I had the privilege of hosting. And
you were the first host, lead anchor of the first all-student Queer News Tonight edition.
And
during Don't Say Gay, the height of Don't Say Gay.
And this was right when it was really starting to pick up in the headlines, and this was right before I started getting more heavily into policy work. But it's been so impactful to have Al kicked out and have an entirely really having people who are heavily directly impacted by these topics and by these stories actually be able to talk about them and actually be able to lead these discussions is so impactful, and in a way that I don't think we've been able to see outside of Queerness Tonight.
A good throat and a trendsetter. Hey, Max, how you doing?
Hey, Max.
How you doing?
Y'all are never going to be allowed to sit together.
We do take a moment to pause in the history of January 6th. A couple of quick notes in terms of the history of what we've done. First off, it's the only news show in the world, live, daily LGBT news show. It came in this real upstart, and really in all intensive ways, it still is an upstart. But it's done amazing things. We've interviewed amazing people. We've had amazing people on the show. Dr. Fauci said my only and last interview before I retire is going to be on Queer News Tonight. I mean, it's a gigantic embracement. At the other end of the spectrum, we do 4 hours with Roger Stone. And when Roger Stone agreed to be interviewed and talked to, we couldn't do it in studio. He wouldn't do it. We had to go to an apartment that condominium that he told us at the last minute, here's where you're going to meet. It was in Fort Lauderdale on Los Olas Boulevard, and we show up. And I'm looking at all of these pictures on the wall going, gosh, this seems so familiar to me. And we sit down and interview Roger Stone, and we talk about all of these kind of things, of the history of Roger Stone and his relationship with Donald Trump and all of the craziness that he had been involved in since Nixon. And I have the opportunity to say, we found this advertisement from the 1990s in a swingers magazine, and we think this is you. Was this you? Yeah. And find out in the interview he was a swinger, and he had advertised in a swingers magazine, and he and his wife were bringing gay guys in.
Oh, wow.
So
in the interview. Wait, I just want to finish. And so that happens in that conversation. And then the other thing that he was very famous for is walking shirtless in the New York Pride Parade. And it's like, what are you trying to tell everybody, Roger Stone? Are you gay? And ultimately get to that question. And he goes, no, I'm libertine, was his answer. And as far as I know, it's the only time that he has point blank said, I'm not gay, but I'm liberal enough to explore whatever because of my libertine thinking of sexuality. And I'm curious, who did you walk in the parade with? Because you walked with this beautiful woman who basically showed a lot of her breast in the New York Pride Parade in like 1992, something like that. And Al, don't you remember the Mayflower Madam? He walked in the New York Pride Parade of the Mayflower Madam. And yes, and I look at on the wall and then there's a picture. And where are we and what condominium? We're in the condominium of the Mayflower Madam in Fort Lauderdale and Los Olas. That's a big moment for Queer News Tonight and the LGBTQ community. Another thing that I think is super interesting is we started on January 6, 2020. We were not in teleprompter. Napoleon and all three of us were in a situation where we told Dar, we told the stories, and all we did was talk about the stories. There was no teleprompter because we didn't have the technology to do the teleprompter. And that picture that you're seeing right now. And when we did that in our start, we started on January 6, 2020. Well, something had basically broken the news 6 days earlier on December 31st, 2019. And that was the virus in Wuhan. And we reported on it and had no idea what was going to happen. We're very proud at Queer News Tonight that we went through the pandemic and reported on the pandemic virtually every single day. How many times did FayWhat report on how many people had died, how many people were
And we
infected?
were at separate corners. We weren't even sitting next to each other because of pandemic. So we came in with masks and had our own little separate cubicles.
And proud at Queer News Tonight that launching at the beginning of pandemic, Queer News Tonight never did not broadcast.
Wow.
Ever. We broadcast completely and consistently all the way through the pandemic and reported every step of the way, and we're doing stories and stories and stories and stories. And it is a situation that we are very proud of because we did stuff that we're going to look back 10 years from now going, how was this possible? And we don't have the understanding of how significant it was because we're in the history.
We told our community to get vaccines. We told our community to vote. We told our community things that seemed logistically very responsible and easy, but to a lot of our community members had no other way to get that information.
And so knowing that, what kind of just made me remember is Queer News Night held a debate that I just remembered I was a part of, that diverse voices of all of our community, of gay people, quote unquote, that was part of our community, the Trumpsters, and then us.
The gentleman who died.
And those folks, and after our debate,
died of COVID.
And we went head on, the gay folks in our community, they're different letters. At the end, Queer News Tonight made us debate each other, not like each other, go tongue in cheek. At the end, we still hugged each other and said, enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Queer News Tonight made that happen. And so I kudos, because that would never have happened, at least for people like me, for me to be able to say I did that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we celebrate the history. Tomorrow we will begin the 4th year of Queer News Tonight, the only still live daily LGBTQ evening news show in the world. We've done the show for tonight. We hope you watch. It was quite good. Faye was sitting at the table.
Yes.
And so was Max. All right, let's move on. Each week at It's Happening Out, we ask our hosts about what is important to them. But the twist is that it must be in just 30 seconds, or you're going to hear this bell. You love that bell.
Oh, I hate that bell.
Oh my gosh, I stole that bell.
This segment is called What's on Your Mind, and it's sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ plus pizza of choice for South Florida. What's on our mind is the deep dish Detroit-style pizza, or perhaps the cauliflower thin crust. Jets Pizza has been with It's Happening Out for 4 years. They captured our attention this year for our 4th season with their campaign called Bigger is Better. And yes,
sorry, you caught me eating. My bad.
Exactly. And of course, they're talking about their slices.
Very good.
What did y'all think I was talking about? Jets supports a huge variety of LGBTQ plus events and nonprofits with more than 400 locations nationwide, 35 of them here in Florida, and mostly in South Florida. They are considered one of the best franchise opportunities in America. And the South Florida LGBTQ plus community loves their pizza. We've been having it here tonight. And this is why Jets Pizza is our sponsor of What's on Our Mind. So let's get right to it. TriniDaddy, what's on your mind?
TriniDaddy.
What's been on my mind? I would say New Year's resolution. You know what? I'm sorry. So New Year's resolutions, I think they're stupid. I think that we should normalize not making New Year's resolutions because healthy life planning and achieving your goals happens on the daily, it happens on the weekly, and this kind of idea that you have to come up with something for the whole year it's
a topic later on the show.
That's kind of that's where I am. So I say just live your good life and don't stress out about New Year's.
All right, very good.
I love that.
And Maxx Fenning, what's on your mind?
Oh, so much. I was so hesitant to ruminate on 2022 because it was such a hard year for our community. We saw so many attacks against LGBT people, especially trans people and people of color, I made a very concerted effort to push back against that and really look at all of the successes that we've had this year and how beautiful it's been, and it's culminated in something that you will see on South Florida Gay News' next edition, which is coming out tomorrow. I will not say what it is, but please do pick up a copy.
Wait.
I'm going to keep it vague.
Yeah.
I can't say. I'm going to keep it vague. Pick up a copy at those big bright red.
All right. We love South Florida Gay News, by the way. All right. Thank you. Elimination, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? I was going to say that you didn't mention RuPaul, but you did. But Kiera Harris Bolden, the great-granddaughter of a lynched victim, is the first black woman to be sworn in on the Supreme Court of Michigan. She is taking over to go from her great-grandfather being lynched, and the two white men who killed, dragged him through the city, castrated him, threw him in the water.
Oh my God.
They got acquitted because the medical examiner said that he drowned, is now part of the Supreme Court of Michigan. And she's taken over the power. We talked earlier about taking over and taking control of the power of that small J, the injustice, the capital J of being a justice for Michigan is amazing, because now today what's happening is folks are killing young black men and getting away with it.
Yeah, awesome. People can change. And Mark Moffitt, what's on your mind?
Bitch, I'm getting married.
Bitch?
Next week, and I will tell you.
So your sex life is going to end.
Oh, no. That's a whole nother conversation. But I seriously, I do kind of wish that I was straight at this point. There would be a bride whose parents were paying for everything. I wouldn't need to be buying frickin' rave fans for everybody, paying for drag entertainment, doing a 3-day event. Why do gay people have to be so extra, Al?
Is the
Why are we so
wedding going to be uber gay? Is that what we're all going to be expecting?
The gayest.
Which day is
I'm
this?
talking fascinator hats.
My fascinators already came in for me and Teresa. We can't.
Every woman and about 50% of the men will have fascinators, drag performances with Daisy Dead pedals. I'm bringing you a little white tuxedo hat just for pictures, Al. So yeah, it's what's on my mind.
All right. Well, we're excited about you getting married, and goodbye to your sex life. And FayWhat? What's on your mind?
So it's January 4th, right? So it's still winter in a lot of places. It's not winter here in South Florida, which is why I live here, okay? But I remember still living back in New York during blizzards and snow time, right? So you'd have to get up an hour earlier to warm up your car. You had to carry kitty litter in the back of your car because it would help get your car out of certain spaces. You would slip and fall in front of places. You can't wear heels in the winter. There's a lot of reasons why I hate winter, right? And I'm never moving to a place where there is winter. But this is another reason why I won't. So one of my favorite shows is called The Mayor of Kingstown, right? I don't know if you guys have seen that, right? I saw one season and they just came back for a second. The main character, his name is Jeremy Renner. He just got ran over by a snowplow. A snowplow.
Trying to help someone else.
Trying to help his neighbor. He got run over by a snowplow. He is okay. He's in critical condition. But there's another reason why I'm not ever moving anywhere where there's snow.
There we go.
She dinged herself.
You're clear. And she
I dig myself sometimes. You should get used to it. Now that you're getting married, sometimes you have to ding yourself because they're too busy. You know.
Exactly. All right. And also on our mind is the great Jets Pizza.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Whitney Houston!
It's going to feel like a big concert mixed with some really personal.
Get out of it.
All right. Well, we're going to tell you about Jets in just a bit. Our Hotspots magazine will be celebrating 37 years this fall. It has been documenting the LGBTQ plus lifestyle and is the spirit of our Hotspots Queer Entertainment this week. And it's sponsored by the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. In the LGBTQ plus community, we always make the jokes about size matters. When it comes to Broward Center, size does matter. The Broward Center for the Performing Arts is the destination of choice for LGBTQ plus South Florida for spectacular entertainment in a large variety of performance venues. Broward Center ranks among the top 10 most visited theaters in the entire world, presenting more than 700 performances a year to more than 700,000 patrons. Broward Center is also the home for LGBTQ plus entertainers, shows, Broadway, national drag performances, LGBTQ plus choral events, and so much more. And Broward Center supports one of the world's largest gay communities of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, and of course all of South Florida. They support that support of the LGBTQ plus community and our nonprofits are unlike any support of any theater in South Florida. We are excited to tell you in the upcoming shows, the rich 2023 season, quarter one is underway at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. And they are going to bring you a wide variety of events that the LGBTQ plus community will love. Did you know, by the way, that surveys show that the LGBTQ plus community participate in live theater 2.5 times more often than our straight counterparts. And that's why they are the sponsor of Hotspots Queer Entertainment this week. Okay, here we go. Whitney Houston. She is remembered as a queer icon and a dazzling artist. In the Kazi Lemons directed biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody, this title track becomes a coming out anthem for the queer community. The review of this amazing and most awaited movie is now out, and the movie brings Houston down off the platform, pulls her up from the muck of the tabloids, and welcomes her into the empathetic embrace of the queer community, happy to claim her just as she always was. Though Houston's story ended tragically, her movie delivers us back to a climactic moment of her success. And also her lesbian relationship with Robin Crawford is front and center in the movie, and how she interacts with church, her family, her career, and remember Bobby Brown?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Whitney Houston!
It's gonna feel like a big concert mixed with some really personal moments. There's a boy I know, he's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston. This highlights Whitney the human, Whitney the person, Whitney the mother, the daughter, the wife, the girlfriend. In particular to my character, Robin Crawford, I just really want people to know the important, influential role that she played in Whitney's life. Wait, no, it's on,
The she is Robin Crawford, who, according to extensive family research and interviews for the film, was Whitney's lover, friend, and confidant.
We've heard things here and there, but there's never been any confirmation of anything, and that's what this movie is going to highlight, their relationship in its full entirety and what they meant to each other.
Well, the world's most important record executive, Clive Davis, is also revealed to be gay in the movie. Our Hotspots Queer Entertainment headline of the week, first reviews of I Want to Dance with Somebody is Whitney Houston and Clive Davis. They were queer as fuck. What do y'all think?
I saw this and went through a little bit of an experience trying to tell other people to go see it, because nobody else had really seen it. And so I'm telling people and family, you've got to go see this. And the first thing out of their mouths, if they were straight, was, well, I've seen some not so great reviews. I'm like, well, I am the closest person that you know that's gay and a fan of her and that has seen it. So why is it my opinion more important than a Rotten Tomatoes review, when a lot of that movie review that we're seeing, I think, is political activism from the conservative side, trying to kind of bash down a gay movie, just like they did with Bros before it even came out. But I will tell you, the most surprising part of this movie for me was the scene with Bobby Brown. She goes through all of the drama, and they come back together, and they're sitting down at a bar, and he's trying to just apologize, and she basically says to him, the drugs were here before you. I don't blame you, and left him in a good space and moved on. I'm telling you, I've hated Bobby Brown for a decade and a half. Just blaming because he was the easiest person to blame.
But you didn't. So you didn't.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
You didn't see any documentaries beforehand. I mean,
No,
there's been so many things that have come out.
because her story always made me so sad that I did not want to focus
you didn't
on
want
it.
to sit through it.
But this one, I knew that it was really respectful. It wasn't going to be tabloidy. So no, that was my first exposure to Bobby Brown is not the devil.
Yeah, no,
Really?
we got that like a decade or 2 decades ago.
Now, Mark has seen the film. The rest of you have not. Why haven't you seen the film? No interest?
Christmas, New Year's been a little busy.
Yeah.
All right, just been a little busy trying to,
I'm just generally
started
I'm
2023.
not the biggest movie goer in the world. I'm trying to get back into it. That's one of the things I'm trying to do for this year is actually watch anything.
You know, we have lots of viewers right now are saying that's exactly why we should extend gay cards. And if you don't qualify for it, you don't get one.
Well, you know, if it's not a Marvel or a DC or a superhero or karate,
There we are.
I'm not going.
Bam.
So I'm not going to lie. However, I have, as a Whitney fan, as someone who's been a diehard from the very beginning, I do know her work. I do know how she supported Robin. Robin was in Where Do Broken Hearts Go, like the very beginning. Robin's been there. And so Robin, you know, was her childhood friend. And Robin was that person who was her protector. And so if you know her upbringings, you know, as a church person, sometimes you have to have those outlets, which was the drugs and the alcohol and things like that. And so that's where those kind of things is. And so I believe that love kind of started as my protector, as my friend, and then they became roommates and those things that we knew along the way. And so I love the fact that at least this perspective is shown. You know, y'all have heard me say many times, I wish Whitney could tell her story, and we know she can't. But sometimes these stories are told through the eyes of someone else, reliving someone's memories, true or false.
And someone not wanting them to be gay.
And
you
right.
know? Like, you know, I was worried that it wouldn't be true to Robin. I was afraid that it would make her look in a bad light, and I've heard quite the opposite.
Here's the issue
powerful
about the storyline in the movie. The relationship with Robin is so upfront and center all the way through the movie, almost all the way to the and warm. She's in a situation where this movie has come out and she's put in front of Sissy. She's put especially in front of the father, Whitney's father, in front of her church because Whitney was a church singer. Her career. The record company, Arista, Clive Davis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Since the movie has come out, almost without exception, there's no denial that the movie is not true. No denial.
You know what?
So it's beyond, I'm only suggesting it's beyond that. It's beyond protector, roommate, it moved into something romantic, but she really wasn't gay. She was gay.
And so I agree with you. And so here's, if you go through the history and you watch Whitney's her journey, as I said, Robin was there from the beginning. She told us in many interviews that was her friend. Robin did, you know, travel with her. Robin was there from the start all the way up until Bobby and her got into a situation. Yep. So I totally agree with you. And so I love the fact in reading and doing this and researching of this, how it's allowing her to be positive and not be negative. Yeah. And it's always, even the drugs, even Whitney's dabble in alcohol and drugs. That was there.
Life.
Her life. Her brother.
What do we think of the idea that that everyone around her attempts to shame her into the closet for her career, and that created and added the complication to her life?
It's sad, and obviously we all know the end of the movie, you know, but it's like, how different would life be if she was able to be out of the closet? You know, as someone that I turned down a job because they wanted me to be the straight girl, and I was like, I can't be this person. I can't. And I can't tell you that I didn't kick myself a couple times later on, going, wow, I could have been further in my career if I would have just done it. You know, she had to. She wanted to be the huge star that she became, and she could not do that while being queer. She just couldn't.
And it was one of the warmest, I think, moments about Robin is that they're having that discussion where Whitney says, you know, basically, look, I've got to date a guy, and I'm sorry. and Robin is the bigger person, and basically, because I love you and I want you to have the life that you want. I'm not going to give you a bunch of crap about that. And I'm just going to be your friend and stay beside you.
See, this is a movie that I wish my mom was still alive, and I think of my mom when I watch this. See, like
She liked Whitney?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
sorry.
No,
that would make sense.
The interesting part about it is why I think about it is because when I came out to my mom, she was trying to convince me that gay is this new thing, and that these people are not gay. This is not people back in my time were not gay. People back in the '80s, whatever. The only thing that she had to kind of lock into was the AIDS crisis. And that's what I was always fighting with her, was that I was like, it's not just this. And I said, there are so many people that you have no idea that are gay.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know that Whitney, was gay or queer or whatever, label. And so I said, that's Robin Roberts person that you're watching. I said, she's a lesbian. And this person's a lesbian. And Tchaikovsky was gay. And all of these incredibly amazing, influential, talented people are gay. And I would tell her, I was like, so you should be proud of your gay son being part of this, group of
Good
people.
for you.
So, when I see this, and I know my mother thought she was just the most, she wasn't a fan, but she thought she was an incredible singer. And I'm like, look at this, not just from Whitney, but also the person who discovered her, Clive Davis, is gay. And this person that was supporting her was gay. And look at all the shit that they have to go through to try, and I was like, and do you want to be part of that shit?
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
Do you want to do that to your son?
Yeah.
It's
well, Trini, she's
question.
seeing it now, honey. She's seeing it now.
I want to ask, are y'all going to see the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Friday.
I absolutely am. I am going to go. Absolutely, I am going to go. And so to your point about her having to suppress who she wants to be because she saw stardom first, and so many others who had to. Again, she was the voice, and people often talk about how our community didn't support or whatever, but she had a bigger vision, and she still did all the work. Think about the makeup artists, think about the dancers, think about all those gay folks that she brought along with her to that ride.
Yeah.
So I
had an interesting experience. One last thought on Whitney Houston. I had an interesting experience this week that I didn't expect I would have, and that was Ricky Martin and Barbara Walters. We did a report of the story of Barbara Walters talking about the biggest regret of her entire career was Ricky Martin, and her 2000 interview with Ricky Martin, where she was so harshly intrusive on whether he was gay or not, and that she pushed and pushed and pushed and created a situation where there was no conclusion. And many people believe that it was really where the superstardom path that Ricky Martin was on ended, because she outed him so badly that he couldn't recover from it. And we reported on it this week in Queer News about Barbara Walters because of her passing. But it's interesting to me, somebody when we were discussing the story said, he chose that. He chose to hide. He deserved to be pushed out because he couldn't be authentic with himself. Now, whether you agree with that or not is not really, I think, the relevant point. Whitney Houston was artificially kept in a place that creates a tick that goes on and worsens and worsens and worsens to conclusion. And you see this process in the movie, ultimately to that night at the Beverly Hills Hilton. Ricky Martin, and somebody makes the point in our conversation, was actually aided, even though it was terrible what Barbara Walters did to him. And it was nice that she came back and apologized and said it was the greatest mistake of her entire illustrious career, but that Ricky Martin was actually better off because the path he was on was so unauthentic that something terrible would have happened, because he would have been so in the closet. And as he got older and older, alcohol, drugs, regret, whatever, could lead to a Whitney situation.
Earlier, absolutely.
I think that is, and I've thought about Ricky Martin all week long because of it.
For that reason only?
Yeah, well, and others.
He's brown, again, he's a Latin guy, he's brown,
exactly,
you know how
right.
I love it.
Is
But
he
that is
Cuban?
so awesome, but I love that.
Oh, he's
Puerto Rican, baby.
I love that, but he still loves it.
But exactly.
But I love
But
that.
it's interesting from the standpoint of Ricky Martin is an incredible, incredible talent. It's never going to be Whitney Houston, and he's outed in a way where it changes the course of his path, where he can marry, marry multiple times, he can have children, he can have a degree of richness in his life that Whitney Houston clearly never had. And that's what this movie is all about. I encourage all of you to go and see it. Mark and I know something about it. All right, and speaking of Hotspots Queer Entertainment, here's a quick glimpse of the venues that are part of Broward Center.
Free, huh?
All right. Obviously, that was not Broward Center. That was Sunshine Performing Arts. But thank you, Broward Center, for the performing.
I'm going to go see Tina next week. Yes, Broward.
And Taylor, yes.
All right. And as you know, we broadcast right here at Sunshine Cathedral for Performing Arts. We're in the Happening Out Television Studios, which is where we broadcast. And we thank you very much for the embracement that we have from Sunshine Cathedral. All right, next up, if we were standing around the LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we may all be talking about. It's sponsored by Hot Topic. Hot Topic is an American retail chain with nearly 700 locations specializing in counterculture related clothing and accessories, as well as licensed music. Hot Topic represents many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more. Hot Topics features one of the largest collections in the world of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of our LGBTQ plus community. And Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBT organizations. Very notable is the support of the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ plus community's most important voice for LGBTQ plus young people. And that's why they are the sponsor of It's Happening Out's Hot Topic. Let's get right to it. Gay Reddit. I love gay Reddit, especially the gay threads, is, as always, full of chitter-chatter. I'm not sure that that's a modern word, but full of chitter-chatter and like exciting right, topics, especially when we all have entered the new year. So, keeping the New Year's vibe alive, one Reddit user threw a question out asking fellow Reddit members about their New Year's resolutions. I bet Trini has a lot to say about this. One question got the stone rolling into numerous exciting and loving responses. A user asked, quote, "My New Year's resolution is to come out to my family and to get buff." How are you all feeling about your resolutions? End quote. While some responded with a fearful thought of self-harm and doubts, some seemed dedicated to their resolutions. What about all of you? Our hot topic of the week is Gay Reddit explores if our New Year's resolutions are a success. Now, besides Trini, what do y'all think about your New Year's resolution?
I have to, okay, hold on to your seats.
Oh, here it comes.
I'm going to agree with Trini. Oh my God, first you love on Al, and then I agree with Trini.
The world is ending.
The world is ending. What is
Am I going to turn straight?
I sure hope not. Not before your wedding. I have a beautiful dress for.
Max is going to say his throat is not as good as it used to be. Hold on.
Whatever.
I'm devastated.
Listen, so for many years, I would do resolutions. I would do, first of all, let's start by saying today's the 4th. I am done saying Happy New Year's to anybody. That's it. I'm done. Second of all, for many years I would say I'm gonna try to curse less. I'm gonna go lose some weight. I'm gonna stop laughing. I can stop cursing.
No, you can't.
That was the entire production team.
24 hours.
I didn't.
That's like, baby, I'm going to be quiet later. I'm going to be quiet now. Like,
I came to work and I started cursing. No, but, you know, and so I'm agreeing with Trini when it comes to this year. I'm not making those same resolutions. I'm going to say, okay, I am not going to go to the gym because let's be real. That LA Fitness shit was for nobody. Okay, I got charged every month and I went once, right? So let's say I am going to try to eat better. Right? I'm going to try to be healthier this year. These are different ways to do that instead of like these crazy resolutions that no one can ever really follow and live to.
Honey. Or wait, sweetie.
Sweetie,
yes, Anderson.
I have been out to dinner with you about 1,000 times in 2022. I assure you, you don't eat better.
It is the worst thing that you can do for any kind of goal in the world is to tie it to the date of January 1st. You may as well just murder that thing when you put it out there. But it's actually, psychologically, it's even worse than that. Because when you put all of your energy around this goal and this whole year being this way and then you fail, you are so much more likely to even try to do a little bit better in any other area because you don't want to experience the New Year's failure again.
Yeah.
Do it any day of the year except for this. In fact, you were talking about the gym. Equinox Gym had a whole special that they put out there where you were not allowed to enroll in their gym on January 1st. Now, it's probably just good marketing. They're probably closed on January 1st anyway. But that was their thing, is we don't want you to join if it's just to meet a goal. Come here to be healthy. Come here to change your pattern. Don't do it for a resolution.
So for me, I was never a resolution person. But in 2019, my first resolution in all these years, although I'm not a dinosaur, I might be up there with them, a caveman. And so my first year was vulnerability in 2019, and I worked hard to ensure that every day of my life was about vulnerability. In 2023, the great show that we had for New Year's, as we all celebrated the end of the year, was about self-help. So I've done 4 days of yoga. Woohoo!
Oh, good for you.
I'm working on getting that person of self-help and learning who I am. So I am working, but it's all about obtainable goals for self-alliance and self-assurance.
Yeah, just having a word to focus on, like vulnerability. That's something that you can do.
You're not going to, and you can do that, and it's easy to pursue.
So I'm going to be buff and come out to my family, and the world's going to love me.
And all those things. And so for me, to your point, yes, I am working towards, thankfully, the yoga. I'm going to build in walking. Not going to do the exercise thing. Won't never happen. Walking is a little easier.
He's going to be
10-minute yoga.
Upward dog.
Jumping, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to sit beside Jonathan. We're both going to have our pecs dance. That's going to be the next show. But I mean, so I think to any of our family that's watching, do those obtainable goals that you can do, that you can hold yourself accountable
Or that one
for.
word, like you said, vulnerability. Like at
simple.
Unity on the Bay on January 1st, we have a white stone ceremony. Everybody writes the word that they want to lead for the year.
And then just
okay,
go with it.
and it's usually, for me, it's usually like balance, right? Trying to be able to balance all you crazy mofos and a regular lesbian life are very difficult.
Now that's not what I would have thought. I would have thought it would have rhymed with duck.
We've already done that, so we'll take that off the box, so we don't need to go there anymore.
Max, I'm curious.
You can ding him, Faye.
Hold on. Max, I'm curious. Gen Zers, is New Year's resolution something you do?
I think it's just as varied as anyone, really.
Gen Zers think about resolutions for New Year's?
I used to be someone who was very, very averse to New Year's resolutions for a lot of the same reason. But I think
when you were 7?
But I think that it's a nice, it's even if it is like time is an illusion and nothing is real, it's still like a nice day to reflect and feel like you have.
Did you make a resolution?
Nothing really definitive. I'm just like, it just gave me an opportunity to really reflect on like what I could have improved on this past year and what I want to work on.
Here's the thing, Max thinks he's perfect, so of course he wouldn't have a resolution.
You guys good deep throat. I mean, Little Kim wrote a whole song about Max. I mean,
so even though I think that you know how I feel about resolutions.
Yes, we do.
I do think that
you told us
that shallow resolutions are okay. So don't try to put anything too, deep into it that you might, whatever. But little shallow ones are okay. And so I was thinking, what is 2023 going to look like for me? just some future planning. So I did just reconnect with the first guy I ever went out on a gay date with.
The church guy?
Wait.
Huh?
Wait. The first guy you had sex with?
No.
That was the church guy.
I went on a date with.
I'm sorry.
And I was so into him. But I just realized after 15 years, we stopped talking. And we just started back and we were kind of recounting that date. And we both had it completely missed who we were and what we were looking for at that time. So, and I hope he's not watching this right now. But I feel like I was kind of heartbroken over the whole thing. I was like, why would he not want to date me and whatever? And there were a few other guys.
The whole list or the top 2?
So he's the
so
reason
the
we got
first
you
few
now?
guys were like that. And so somehow the universe has reconnected all of us. So
wait.
it's like that Mariah Carey song, you wouldn't know. Someday the one that the one you're looking for.
Right.
So I feel like the 2023 is going to be like my revenge banging kind of year. So I'm excited.
23 is going to be your revenge banging.
Kinda, yeah. That's what I think is going to happen.
You can have 2 words for the year,
If it doesn't happen, it's okay.
How is it revenge banging?
If it was a lost love, then did y'all not bang?
No.
They didn't bang.
No. So, and that happened with the but
it is a good segue into Shag, Marry, Chop.
Yeah. And he didn't want to?
He thought that, because I was kind of closeted at the time. So
at the time, now you're still closeted, my friend.
So he was thinking like all these things about me, and then I ended up canceling the date the next day because I got asked to play on the Billboard Awards. So that he thought I made it up.
Are you bored? I'm so bored. I mean, seriously. Can we please go to Shag, Marry, Chop?
All right.
TriniDaddy's love life is not what we should be talking about.
Right.
Well, Revenge Bang 2023. That's what
Revenge Bang. Hashtag Revenge Bang. All right. 2023. All right. I'm going to consider that.
Vengeance.
All right. We're going to play our game Shag, Marry, Chop, which is really going to be renamed next week Revenge Bang.
Yeah. hashtag Revenge Bang.
It is sponsored by Andrew Christian. Our game is a playful conversation about sex. Andrew Christian is a literal representation of that playfulness and the world's most recognized sexy fashion brand for men. Iconic names like Trophy Boy, swimsuits, underwear, are just the start of Andrew Christian. Founded by and dedicated to the LGBTQ plus community, Andrew Christian has become a status symbol for straight men wanting to adopt the style that Andrew Christian represents.
Hello.
The brand's support of our community is unparalleled. Pride events, major parties, and lots of charitable fundraisers, and many of the issues that have become critical.
You're drunk, aren't you? You're drunk.
All that browner.
And it's all that
critical to the gay community. We're going to lose another sponsor to the gay community, are supported by Andrew Christian. And by the way, we congratulate Andrew Christian, who is a person, for being on the prestigious Out 100 list of this year. His brand presence in pop culture, entertainment, video, and so much more is why Andrew Christian is our sponsor of Shag, Marry, Chop.
That's a new video. I had to put my glasses on for that one.
It is brand new. That's right. This time our theme is, this is interesting, celebrating our perihelion day. This is the day the sun is closest today to the earth. And so that's all the excuse that we need to celebrate the hotties from the areas closest to the sun. And that includes the equator and the southern hemisphere. And here are our hottest picks. First up, Colombian model, adult performer, and the cover boy for the New Year's Eve issue of Hotspots magazine, Daniel Montoya. Brazilian fitness influencer, Bruno Billy. And from the Comoro Islands near Madagascar off Africa is the model FayWhat. All right, let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. And Trini, let's start with you. Who are you going to shag?
I'm going to shag Daniel Montoya because he's got it all. Look, he's got these moves. He's Brazilian. I don't know why. I've always had it. Oh, Colombian? Okay. I've always had a thing for Colombian/Brazilian dudes. And I didn't just make that up because it just happened.
Really did.
I know, but I swear.
Well, there you go. Your shot missed.
So,
wow.
Wow, you're slapping me down there, Max.
Thank you.
That was a broken
So I do that, and then where's FayWhat from?
He's from
Madagascar.
Off of Madagascar.
Madagascar.
Africa.
And Bruno, where's he from?
Brazil.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard Brazil somewhere. So, I mean, FayWhat looks like he's got a lot of personality. He just did like a Gaga thing. You know what? I'm going with Bruno. I'm gonna marry him. I think he's gonna entertain me more. And FayWhat, like you're beautiful and everything, but I'm just gonna. I know it's hurting your heart right now.
I'm listening to you as you heard the countries, and then you made your decisions. But we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Clearly, Trini's not very well traveled because each country means something.
I don't know Madagascar stuff.
Okay. Africa.
I know where Africa is.
I know. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Mark, who are you shagging?
I'm for
Elimination gets it. All right.
For Shag, I'm going with Daniel because being on the cover, I'm going to have very good bragging rights that are local and impressive. Bruno Billy, I'm not sure if we have shown the clip that shows his excited stage in those little shorts, but I'm marrying that piece.
That's the Brazilian
right
boy.
there. You could. I don't care where he's from.
Oh yes, you do.
You could change out his face or anything, but that's the marry. And then FayWhat would have to be a chop only because his ass is so much nicer than mine, and I have to have the best butt in the relationship.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Faye? And Maxx Fenning.
My sister.
Who is your, my
All right,
sister?
we're
Who are
starting
you
off
shagging?
with some consistency. Daniel Montoya, obviously. Look at him. Look at that man, please.
Do you
now,
think he's the top?
I don't care. Whatever he is,
What do
I'm
you
the
think?
other thing.
What do you
That's it. I don't care, but whatever he is, I'm the other thing.
All right.
But
So he is a bottom. Just so you know.
that's
absolutely all day.
And you're okay with that.
I'm down across the board. I don't care. That
Across the
absolutely.
border.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh. Oh,
Look at that.
Oh, that's spectacular.
All right.
That's
And your Mary is?
Falme. He looks like he gives really nice hugs and he's a good cuddler. I think that's actually part of it.
That's a big deal for you to be a good good cuddler.
I think
Why is that?
I don't have much to go off of here, right? But I think that for something, but it's the intimate, it's the other kinds of intimate moments that I think.
All right, and your chop is because
I don't know. I don't think he's pretty in the face, personally.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, let's be sure and share that with him. And Elimination, who is your shag?
So I am going to shag Bruno. I think that smile. I think that I can just get it in, hit it, quit it. Kind of thanks, appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, it's just cute. He got a little fat booty, a little muscles.
The stereotype about Brazilians is true.
What's the stereotype?
You know what this.
That they need papers.
Again, he got a. All the Brazilians I've ever, had good booty, so that's another story.
Oh my!
I am going to, I'm going to sideline. I'm not going to chop. I'm going to sideline Daniel Montoya. I think, he's a good bottom. So, the world needs great bottoms.
And do you know that because of his recent tour here in Wilton Manors?
From the story, I didn't taste it.
There were stories.
I didn't taste it. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on, and I am going to marry Falme. I think the 8. He got baby making hips. He has his little intelligent going on, so he can kind of challenge me on some things. And he got a little aggression going on. I think that we can do some wrestling.
Do you like that?
I do. Look at the hips. Like he got the perfect arch.
You like the physical interaction?
Absolutely. I can wrestle all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the sounds that you make when we're in the passion and throes of love. Baby making hips. What are you talking about, Al?
Baby making hips. All right. Speaking of baby making hips,
hey, what?
I was looking straight at Max when you said that. I was like, baby making hips right there. All right. So I am shagging Bruno Billy. All right, I'm shagging him because he just looks like so shaggable, and right, like isn't he hot? He's got a great body and everything. He'll be fun to shag.
I'm going to put it out one more time. The stereotype about Brazilians is true. Now, let me tell you, a lot of understanding on this subject. Brazil, number 1. Cuba, number 2. Dominican Republic, number 3.
This is your survey, right?
All brown.
Your extensive survey by Alfred.
It was an oral survey.
Colombia, no.
It was not.
No. Colombia, number 4. And Puerto Rico, number 5 in the Western Hemisphere. Now, if you add the African continent, all bets are off. So you have chosen number 1.
I have chosen. Oh, I have really.
Brazil.
Okay, to shag, and I'm shagging him.
And Al's scientific.
All right.
I want to watch.
What a waste.
Let's understand
What a
this.
waste.
What a waste.
No, because you're going to shag him. You're not going to get to use that.
No, I'm with you. I never go second, but I will go second after you. I will shag after you. Hell yeah.
Now that is love. That is love.
The hips don't lie.
Oh my God.
That's Bruno. And your Mary is?
How do you say his name? Falme?
Falme. My sibling.
Falme. I am going to marry Falme because he's fun, he's athletic, he's gorgeous, and he's got this little mean streak about him, right, that I love. If you've met my wife, right, she's mean. Like,
she's one of the few women in lesbian women in South Florida that actually scare me.
She's meaner than Faye?
Oh my God, all day.
Child.
I am a puppy dog.
I'm not coming to the wedding.
Faye barks. Right, Faye barks. Teresa doesn't bark.
No, she's a pit bull.
She bites.
She's a pit bull.
That's why I love that bitch.
Right,
I'll see you when I get home, baby. And so then I'm gonna chop Daniel Montoya because since I'm Colombian, we might be related. People like to shag a lot in Antioquia and Medellin. So I am just gonna leave it like that, and that's the only reason you shag, Colombian brother, because you are You hot. Just afraid that we might be cousins.
Exactly.
And first cousins. Because if we were fifth cousins, I'll sleep with you. F it. I mean, it is what it is. It wouldn't be the first time. Maybe not the last, depending on how long Teresa's alive. So, you know.
We'll bring him to Elimination Chamber. You can peg him again. Yeah.
Can we just talk about the possibility of Teresa dying?
Insurance.
I mean, I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen.
But when it does.
But if it does.
Maria is available.
I have to create alternatives. It's like, okay. I
mean, you know, I got needs.
We have a date for him at the Elimination Chamber.
Wait, Teresa's dying and you're already talking about your needs? Really?
Listen, when gay marriage was under fire, I told her, oh yeah, if this ring comes off, I'm single again, bitch, para que tú lo sepas. We went through all of that, but if our rights are upheld, I'm single. Ask her.
I'm going to. Wow. All right. With so much shagging and marrying and shopping, let me remind you of what we love about Andrew Christian.
Alice
And we go to the quiz. The quiz
We're back
to
to us.
America. Yes.
We're totally out of control.
I love it.
Thank you, Andrew Christian.
Ay, no puedo.
Whatever.
Our former sponsor.
Whatever we just showed you.
All right, it's time to say goodnight. So let's hear from our host for one final time. A good night from Mark Moffitt.
Good night. Come to my wedding. It's streaming on Facebook. Love you.
All right, right to the point.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a good night from TriniDaddy.
Good night, everybody. It's 2023 now. If there's somebody that you were waiting to bang, revenge bang them.
Revenge Bang 2023. I'm really going to think a lot about that. And a good night from Maxx Fenning.
It's always a pleasure. I'm so happy to be here on the first It's Happening Out of the year, and to many more for the rest of 2023.
And we're happy you're here, Max. And a good night from Elimination.
Good night, my kinky humans. Shout out to the Florida Power Exchange for allowing me to host the first People of Color meetup that they've ever had. Good night to my kinky humans for allowing us to be together January 4th. And family, be easy. It's only January 4th. Be easy on yourself. The resolutions can come. Self-building can come.
And thank you very much. And really, now, everybody, this is actually a very, very important good night, final good night, because after Teresa sees this show, we won't be seeing Faye. Good night from FayWhat.
FayWhat. Good night, folks. I love to be at this table. You know, the 8 people that I love usually sit at this table, and Trini. So, you know, like this show, you don't get a show like this anywhere else, where people from different walks of life get to sit together, argue, debate, and then, like you always say, we get to walk away and give each other a hug and kiss and consider each other family, because that's what I do. I consider all of you guys family. You guys all help me stay sane and sober, and I appreciate it. Even you, Trini. Take that. Can you cut that out, production? Thank you.
Right. All right. Well, that's it. Another week with It's Happening Out. You sat right here at the LGBTQ plus kitchen table as we kiki on the things that are important to our community. We constantly, week after week, we finished 2022, arguably, you know, after 2 years of pandemic. 20 was really bad. 21 improved a little, but was also really bad. Who could have possibly imagined when Joe Biden was elected president of the United States that 22 would be as bad for LGBT as it turned out to be? We hope that 2023 will improve, but if it doesn't, you have us. And we're all getting together to talk about how we can make it better. And that's really the most important thing that we can do in 2023. We begin the new year this week, and we have to commit. Think about that Google search ad that we showed you. We have to commit by putting ourselves in, asking the questions that are really important to us. And if we do, things do get better. We invite you to follow our 501c3 nonprofit Experiment. Is our LGBTQ community important to you? I ask and have asked that question about 1,000 times in the last 4 years of Happening Out Television Network. Our mission means we do deeply believe it is. We encourage you to pick up Hotspots magazine on newsstands all over South Florida. Queer News Tonight, covering the LGBTQ news of South Florida, America, and our world, is daily and live at 8 p.m. on Roku, Apple TV, and many other television platforms. And congratulations on Friday as we start our 4th year. And our flagship, of course, is with you right now, here tonight and every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Because remember, if it's important to you, it's happening out. Until next time, good night.
Bye.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.